know, when you take 73% of people, those are some people that are living in those nice neighborhoods, right? Like Middletown where I live.
You you said something to me that when we first moved to Rockland, you probably don't remember, but I remember I was delivering pizzas for Papa John's, and I remember going to this house, and it was a huge house. We were living in an apartment, like we pretty much have forever. I went to this house, and the woman wrote me a check. I mean, this is how long ago this was, back when you could write a check to the pizza delivery driver. But point being is that she wrote the check for the exact amount of the pizza. And I'm looking at this house, and this house is like, well, new construction, probably nothing like crazy, but 2,200 square foot, new construction, that plain kind of clay colored or whatever it is. Well, California, kind of. But anyways, and I remember being so upset because it's like I'm working for, I was getting, I think, like $6 an hour from Papa John's at the time, and whatever tips I could make, I got. And I'm like, this person got this, they couldn't even give me $1 or $2.
Yeah.
And anyways, point being was, after that, I think I told you that experience, and then you said to me that essentially, just because they have a big house and a big car, they're probably still living paycheck to paycheck. They're just living paycheck to paycheck on a higher level than you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and I never kind of forgot that, like, because it's like, yeah, and that Robert Reich kind of, proves that in a way. It's like
you can have your 5,000 square foot, $1.2 million, home there in Middletown or Homedale or whatever, and be making, $200,000 a year, but your expenses, that mortgage payment, the landscape. I had that one fair. I picked them up in Homedale in one of them, huge houses. And apparently, if I remember correctly, his company developed the ink or the dye for the McDonald's French fry cup, that red dye. That's his company, right? And so apparently that's the contract. They make the dye that McDonald's uses to print their things. So he's doing all right. And he's got two factories, one in New Jersey and the other one down in North Carolina. And I think he was flying to North Carolina to check on that other factory. I remember him telling, like I asked him about how big his house was, and I forget, it was like 8,000 square feet or whatever, something like that. And apparently by this particular point, the family had all grown up and gone out. And, like the fact that it was, he thought it was just too big. And I won't say the number, but the amount of like maintenance just every month that he had to spend just to keep the exterior and all that, like, holy cow, so yeah, you can be making a lot of money, but when you start adding up all of those expenses, it's the same thing. Yeah. I just sat down. I just brought my paycheck home this week. It was $15,000, but I just wrote $13,000 of bills. Right. So, yeah, I've got $2,000 left, but kids in college, private school, gymnastic lessons, whatever, yeah, it's different, but you're still in that same, if I lose my job, the whole house of cards comes crumbling down. And then, then you talk about the mental health crisis, right? And why are people so stressed out?